There we go. Galloping away. And I could feel little legs kicking over there on the other side.
At 36 weeks, all is clearly well for mother-to-be Jude Helen. Her midwife Tina is happy.
That's really nice, Jude. That's lovely.
Across the country, thousands of women are having the same tests.
I'm assuming his head's still down.
But unlike most, Jude is having her check-up in her own home.
Was where it should have
And Tina has been her midwife throughout her whole pregnancy care, just as she was for Jude's older daughter.
Just to have the same person and, you know, and them to be kind of part of your family, really, in many ways. You know, my mum was here and it was just lovely.
Independent midwifery at work, following Jude's choice to have a home birth. Unless there are complications, Tina and her partner midwife will see her through pregnancy, birth and at least a month of postnatal care too, all at home.
I know a lot about Jude and about her physical condition, her emotional condition, so it's much, much easier to sort of predict what might or might not happen and how I can support her.
But many in Britain don't now have Jude's choice. Across the NHS, home birth has increasingly been squeezed out as pressure on the system has built. Many PCTs have had to cut the service altogether.
It takes 2 experienced midwives to go and look after a woman in her own home. And so with great sadness we had to make the decision to suspend our home birth service until we recruited more midwives and it became safe again to offer that service.
Now, there's another way.
In terms of the way in which women have their babies, we could not necessarily solve it overnight, but we have all the ingredients available.
A new national organisation to bring home birth services within reach of all PCTs without massive internal costs.
It will be free for women, and most importantly it will be free for the women that we are really trying to target, which is the vulnerable and the disadvantaged women.
A not-for-profit ideal that satisfies public policy and public opinion.
Social enterprise is now recognised as a sort of way forward to increase the plurality of providers within the NHS.
And most importantly of all, a chance to give everyone genuine choice wherever they are. Home birth is being reborn for the 21st century.
I think it's an idea whose time has come.
I think the picture is changing.
It's how it should be.
It is really, really important that we have a national independent midwives association.
This is Beatrix. She's 4 weeks old and 2 days, and she was born at home, and she weighed 8 pounds, 2 ounces. I'm very proud of her, and us actually.
Holly and Matt, keen to show off the new addition to their family. They say Beatrix came into the world the best way they could have imagined.
This is Beatrix's room, and it's also where I gave birth.
Just over there.
Just that spot. And actually, I think back and I think I really enjoyed it. And I'm not sure that that's quite the truth, but I could really feel my body and her coming down the kind of birth canal and things. And although it was painful, I remember thinking, wow, you know, this is my body. This is, you know, thinking it was quite amazing, really.
For Holly and Matt, maternity care has been an overwhelmingly positive experience. And they believe that's down to one thing: Mal, their independent midwife.
Once I felt that we were in her hands, I just kind of really just thought it was going to be okay, and it was.
Well, just knowing that it was a continuity of care and that she'd come round and that she would know, you know, she'd know the story, you know, I felt at ease totally from the beginning.
Okay, so How did you feel it went at the scan?
Like Tina with Jude, Mal was Holly and Matt's carer through every stage of pregnancy and birth, and for a vital month afterwards too.
I had found the breastfeeding difficult because initially Beatrix, she would just sleep at the breast all the time basically, and then she got jaundice, and so kind of particularly needed to be feeding to kind of flush that through. And then when my milk came in, she couldn't latch on at all. So every day or every few days, we kind of had a new challenge, didn't we? Yes, we did. And it was really difficult actually. And so Mal was amazing, and she just gave us lots of advice every step of the way. Hey, sweetie.
Extra postnatal care is just one reason why, for many, independent midwifery is now making more sense than ever.
Continuity works. Having somebody you know at your labour to support you works. Women are much less likely to suffer from postnatal depression. They are more likely to breastfeed, and all the benefits that breastfeeding confers both on the baby and the mother in terms of reduced cancers, lower obesity rates, diabetes, a big problem looming for the NHS further down the road, will be reduced where breastfeeding continues into a number of months. These are, if you like, the additional benefits from a very simple idea that a woman and a midwife start their journey together and build up a relationship and have a positive and empowering experience of pregnancy and birth.
All of which means Holly and Matt feel they have a lot to thank Mal for. But they also owe a debt to another young mum. Aisha lives in the same corner of East London as Holly and Matt, under the same health authority, Newham. Just over a year ago, she started to ask for a home birth for her second baby, after a very negative hospital experience with her first.
When I went in for my 12-week booking, I was told that actually, when I requested that I would like a home birth, she's like, oh, home birth has been suspended and that's it. I was like, okay, I was just really shocked.
But Aisha wouldn't give up.
I walked to the supervisor again, I walked to lots of different people, went onto the Yahoo home birth groups, the midwifery groups, all the mum site, looking for help to get, because I really didn't want to give birth in the hospital.
And with just 6 weeks to go, a change of heart. Independent midwife Mal was brought in by the hospital to take Aisha's case.
My first one was £7, and I had an injection, I had lots of gas and air. That was all in hospital. I was still in pain. At home, I got to 8 centimetres by myself. I didn't even know I was in labour. I just thought, oh yeah, this is gonna stop. I didn't feel the pain. He was £10. With my first, I got a cut. He came out fine, nothing. So that's the big difference. So yeah, you can see that definitely being at home was, because I was able to relax and I was able to let the contractions build up by themselves, and I think that really helped.
For Fiona Laird, Aisha and Holly's stories are a personal pleasure. She's the former midwife at Newham PCT who's restarted home birth by paying independent midwives to provide the service.
It's been absolutely fabulous. The feedback has been fantastic. Women love our independent midwives. And I think, just for me, having that choice available again in Newham is a really important thing.
But though Newham is catching on, there are still large parts of the capital and the country continuing to deny that choice, even though guidelines demand it.
Maternity Matters is what we're all aiming for, and that has to be completed by December of this year. And that was about giving women choice, giving them access, and giving them control.
But many PCTs say that however much the policymakers in Whitehall want them to have home births, they haven't got the staff or the resources. So what's the answer? independent midwives are getting organised.
I'm Annie Francis and I'm an independent midwife and I'm now a board member actually of Independent Midwives UK, which is a social enterprise. We can become an organisation, a national organisation that will set up a contract with any PCT who wants to have a contract with us, and we will then subcontract the work out to independent midwives living in the local area for any woman who chooses that way of accessing care. The resources, and where the resources will go, it will go into clinical care. The sort of bricks and mortar costs, if you like, of our organisation are going to be very few, because the midwife will follow the woman, and if she chooses to go into a consultant unit, the midwife can go with her. We'll have access in there. She can go into a local birthing centre, or she can stay at home. It will be the woman's choice, and all the resources will go into the midwife who is working with that woman.
And the social enterprise model is the key.
We don't want to become an organisation built on profit. We want to bring our model of care into the NHS, and a social enterprise vehicle is perfect because it allows us to develop the idea, if you like, the model of care that we give, and be able to use any profits generated to grow and improve what we offer.
Better for PCTs, better for women, and according to Ruth Deary, better for midwives too. In her research at Huddersfield University, she's been learning how midwives work and how they feel in the NHS.
Midwives are leaving the profession because firstly, they don't like the industrialised obstetrics way of working, the conveyor belt system. Midwifery is turned into something that they didn't expect it to be. Because it's getting busier and busier and there's no midwives, they are feeling increasingly stressed. And when they're feeling increasingly stressed, there's actually no support systems in place for them. I mean, the social enterprise model offers a wonderful opportunity for those midwives that have left the NHS and even midwifery to get back into it, because it offers them that niche of practice that they could never find in the NHS. A way of working that is truly with women, where they can offer choice to women, spend time with women, build a relationship with them, and not intervene unnecessarily.
In 5 years' time, I would like to see Independent Midwives UK with a template contract and with the infrastructure to support it, available for a significant number of PCTs in this country, and a growing number of women and midwives who are making that journey.
In 5 years' time, if one of my daughters was to have a baby, I would like to think that she could have true choice.
I think bringing independent midwives under the umbrella of the NHS means it will be accessible to all women regardless of culture, money, religion. It will be just as the NHS is.
It should be available for everybody. I mean, it's just, you know, it seems so basic, fundamental care.
It's about what I want and what I feel is right for me.
It just became something that I totally bought into.
This is what I want for my daughters.
And I quite like the idea that we'll be able to tell her later, you know, and show her the pictures and say, you know, about this being her room, this is where she... Yeah.
Unless she gets sort of embarrassed and grossed out by it, like, oh, don't tell the birth story again.